Now that I've added my next set of 12 loops, I can actually go back into my shared unit to go pass through my stone by simply following the right angle path here. So I'm going to travel through this inner bead here, this inner bead, and then into this outer bead in order to come out into my position in which I could back step into my bead. So I'm going to go ahead and travel that path. And just like that, I'm in my shared bead between the two units to do my stitch back into that bead and pass my thread through that stone to secure it down to the foundation and close in with my next loop. So again, I'm going to add 12 more beads. I'm just going to count that out here just to make sure I got my count. I like to split them 4, 4, and then 4. Yep, it's a nice way to see 12. And then from there, I'm going to go back into that shared outer bead, just like that. I'm going to pull my loops just up over the two beaded beads of the first layer, just so that my loop is taut, and I want it above those two, just to make sure that that's where it sits. And then I'm going to pass through my 4mm and through my shared bead on the opposite end, right there. And we're going to pull that through. Just like that. And then I'm going to pick up my next 12 to lock that in place. This is my next 12. I'm going to go back into just the outer bead that is shared between those two Pondo units, just like that. And from here, what we're going to do, so we have two choices. You might have noticed that I don't have a loop on the opposite end, but I do over here in my first layer. I could choose to move here into the next shared unit, or I could just travel the diagonal. I like to travel the diagonal to give myself a clean start into the next stone. So from this outer shared bead between the two units of my Pondo, I'm going to travel to the next inner, outer, right in the dead center, inner, outer, to the next section of my stoned element. And that is where I will be doing my second layer between this shared bead and this shared bead of my Pondo stitch units. So really, the technique is that I can travel along the path anywhere and either work first layer and then second layer, or alternate between first and second layer. There's really no wrong or right way to add the embellishments, just as there's really no right or wrong way to pick up the steps. As you saw In my other examples, I'm just putting them here for you all to see. I had mentioned that one of these, I did the stones first, and then the beads second, whereas the other, I did the stones and beads at the same time, and I worked to build it. Just because, you know, if you're building, let's say, from the ground up until you have one piece that sort of fits, you then have an idea of a template like, okay, you can get this many flat bases and then work the stones in this set, and then work with the embellishment. Or work your loops, fill your loops, and then you could be really selective about the bead placement. Again, there is no right or wrong way to do this, but there is sort of considerations in the methods to how you want to start. So you always start with your foundation and your pondo stitch, and then set your stones, and then embellish your loops. Or you can choose to do a little bit of embellishment, set some stones, attach your clasps. Really, it's flexible. All right, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Again, just to review, this is the beaded bead stitch or the dot stitch, and it is used to create the looped embellishments on the Prismatic Rainbow Bracelet.